Welcome to Kardec Radio, where you nourish your soul daily. As you wait for our next program, The Medium's Book, visit Kardec Publisher at kardecpublisher.com to check out our latest books. Also, check out our Kardec Flicks, Spiritism in a Click. Just go to kardecflix.com. And now with you, our host, Dr. Vanessa Anseloni, with the program The Medium's Book. Enjoy it.
Welcome, dear friends, to Kardec Radio and the Medium's Book program. We want to ask you, how are you doing in regards to these amazing studies? Have you been able to read the Medium's Book? Have you followed already the beautiful programs that the team of hosts has provided to you? Do you have questions? Would you like to ask questions directly to us? Let us know at kardecradio@gmail.com, because this is supposed to be an encouraging time for all of us around the world to study about mediumship. Right now, we are going to study a new chapter. Before I begin the chapter, I want to share my screen with you so we can talk about the book. The Medium's Book has a subtitle, Manual for Mediums and Evokers. Kardec published this book in precisely 1861. When he published the book, his intention on experimental spiritism was for all of us not to reinvent the wheel. So he published this book in the following way. He had two parts. Part 1, which is all about preliminary observations. Are there spirits, etc.? 4 chapters. We've already covered it. Part 2, spirit manifestations. 32 chapters, totaling 36 chapters. Today, we are already past halfway of this book, because we right now are covering chapter 11 of the Medium's Book and chapter 11 of part 2. We are halfway through, right? The book. And in this chapter, we're going to learn more and more about how spirit manifestations happened and happen today. As Kardec said at the beginning in the preface, each and every day, experience confirms our opinion that the difficulties and disappointments encountered in the practice of Spiritism result from ignorance of the science's principles. So we need to know, we need to learn. If you are a person saying, oh, I am a medium, I don't need to study, I know, we all need to study. Chico Xavier was one of the most amazing mediums that we've seen on earth. And yet, he not only psychographed the books, but he studied them. All right? So studying today, chapter 11 of part 2, Sematology and Typtology. What is it? What are we talking about? So let's go to the definitions. Sematology is the study of meaning, specifically the relationship between signs, symbols, and their interpretations. And Typtology is the science of communication with spirits by means of reps, various codes being arranged for the purpose. So we also talk about the turning tables here in this chapter, but one of the main observations here is about spirits not liking to be submitted to the caprice of the curious who want to put them to the test with questions related to the subject. forgive us for the typos here. But we're going to see that Kardec says that spirits don't like when people come out of curiosity. We're not in a zoo. There are people who come and tell me, but Vanessa, I would like my husband to see it. Then he's going to believe in it. No, he's not going to believe in it. Many people have seen many things and yet they don't believe it. I'll give an example. We have a type of mediumship in which the medium paints canvases, paints on canvases. Big names come. We have already brought these mediums to the United States. Many people saw how fast these mediums are able to cover a whole canvas with paint. Beautiful pictures. Some people believed in it, other people don't. We're talking about a minute paintings. If you talk to artists, unless they do nonsense, it's believable, right? But we're talking about beautiful pictures, and yet people don't believe it. Like the senator Publius Lentulus. Publius Lentulus, interesting enough, if you read chapter 5 of the book 2000 years ago, we're going to see Publius Lentulus, the senator, coming to talk to Jesus. Jesus comes in front of him, and Jesus was incarnated at the time, talks to him, and yet he recognizes the majestic figure, as he says. He describes Jesus in his majesty, and yet when he comes home and sees his daughter, Flavia, being healed from leper, he doesn't believe it. He thinks the gods did it. You see how we are? When we're blind to see the spiritual things, only life, and to tell you the truth, a lot of pain. Rarely we will come to such conclusions without the help of pain. Yeah, sufferings, because it opens our vision, our spiritual vision. Back to the book. Let us go back to this book and study about the fact that Kardec himself, he mentioned on the importance of trying to find the means to have the medium being independent from the process, not to interfere with the message. So when we talk about this type of physical manifestations, when there are noises like this I'm doing, right? Reps. See, you're listening to these noises? I'm doing with my hand, but in this case, people would sit around the table, keep their hands on the table on purpose so people would see that nobody's using their hands to rap, to tip on the table, and the internal raps would happen, he would say. And what amazes them the most was when the answers to the questions that were asked to the spirits, they came unexpectedly. So let's go back a little bit here. We're talking about the cases of sematology. So Kardec says to us that the earliest intelligent manifestation were expressed by means of raps or typtology. Just like this, the table would move and would answer in a yes or no way the questions that were asked to the spirits. okay? So he says, the movement of a table rising to one side and then dropping to strike with the formerly upraised leg. All that is required for the mediums in this case is for them to rest their hands on the edge of the table. So they would ask yes or no. And then there was a time in which was very time consuming, and very difficult. He used to say that you had to make very direct questions like, do you want ice cream? And this, I'm just giving an example. And the spirit would say, yes, no, right? Because if you ask, what do you want in this system, it was very hard. And then later, they created this sematology method, right? The sematology in which they would make like letters of the alphabet. And you can see this in some movies, in American movies, when they portray seances, like letters of the alphabet. And either a ball or an object would go to the letters, and then you had to patiently pay attention and form the words, to form the sentences, to form the paragraphs. Or, or a medium would point to the words and the spirit would rap in order. So it's like you're decoding it, right? There's a code, you're decoding it. Very labor intensive, but he says here, Kardec says that some people are so patient that they were able in this method to get pages and pages. Kardec later observed that the presence of a person who was a medium was enough to perceive this message. So later, instead of using any of these primary methods, they used the pencil, and the medium would psychograph the message or speak the message, and somebody would record it, typing it in, right? Writing it in. So we're talking about the first process of mediumship. And nowadays, may it happen? Yes. Do we need it? No, because we already know how to talk to the spirits. But the question is, what kind of spirits are talking to us? What kind of spirits? Superior spirits or inferior spirits, says Kardec, can use this method. Because you may say, but Vanessa, I remember when we studied earlier that superior spirits don't usually get involved with physical manifestations. But for this type of coded message, typtology, sematology, either superior or inferior spirits will use it. The differences in the characteristics of the message. Superior spirits will have like a more elaborated, a loftier type of thinking, versus inferior spirits that would be a little simpler, a little less profound. So, we would like to conclude our study today because the chapter is very short, by asking us to meditate on this sentence by Kardec. In the Medium's book, time and again, he teaches us to observe the facts and analyze the language. In a world that is so fast-paced, where our attention span has been reduced because of our constant contact with social media, it becomes harder and harder to observe facts. and even analyze the language. That's why we form groups, spiritist centers, because it is safer to be in a group observing facts and analyzing the language than by ourselves. This idea of practicing mediumship alone is not recommended for safety reasons and also for efficiency and productivity. The group becomes more powerful. So I would like to give you an exercise as you read this chapter 11. Think about in your life how often things happen and we don't pay attention. And if we were more observant, we would find solutions to our problems more easily. Because the good spirits, our guardian angels, are constantly caring for us, helping us. And sometimes, like once, at Kardec's time when he was writing his books, at some point he heard these rappings, and for 2 hours he didn't know what that was. The next day he observed the fact. He said, "Why are these noises happening right now, at the very moment that I'm writing this?" So he took a note, observed it, and then he wanted to analyze it. What is the message there? So next day, he goes to a mediumistic meeting. He asks the spirits through the medium, "What was that about? Were you guys trying to tell me anything?" And they replied, "Yes. You were writing something that was not right. So we wanted to let you know. Don't go on. Go back." And then they said, "To that page, to that paragraph, and fix this, that, and the other in this way." So all Kardec had to do was to observe the facts and then analyze the language. Let us use this technique throughout this week to see how it goes. Next week, when we come back, we're going to study chapter 12 of part 2, which is about direct writing. Very interesting. Come to Kardec Radio. Let us always learn some more. If you have any question or any comment, feel free to write to us at kardecradio@gmail.com. We wish you many blessings, and we thank you so much for being here with us.